April 21st, 2021. We just finished the 22nd episode of Big Brother Canada 9, and we're here to talk about the Week 8 Wednesday Veto episode. I'm sorry, a little bit tired. It's been quite a week already. Talk about this episode. I'm Dave Mader, coming at you here on Super Mader Brothers Podcasting, along with Jaemeel Robinson. Jaemeel, what a night we had. Quite the roller coaster, I gotta say. But so much to break down. This, if right from the top of the show with these narrations, where are we going to get a one-way ticket to or win a ticket to Safety Town? Was the question.
Will anyone win a ticket to Safety Town?
Or is it a one-way
It's a
trip?
one-way trip to good times. Lord.
A one-way trip to good times. Did you feel like you took a one-way trip to good times tonight?
I guess so. If Safety Town is the alternative, no, I went to Good Town.
There's Safety Town, and then there's Good Times, which is kind of the name of a place. That's like Bon Temps, maybe.
Yeah.
You know,
Bon Temps.
Okay. Bon Temps, like the True Blood. That was a little bit of a True Blood
Yes.
reference for the French language market, though it translated perfectly.
Yes, actually. How Canadian of them.
So much to break down here tonight. Jedson wins the veto, Jaemeel. Takes Beth off the block. Brayden goes up as the pawn. Jaemeel, we were talking about this the other night. We were saying, what the hell is Tara thinking? What went wrong here? What is this this has to be a disastrous move. The way this episode was presented to me tonight, Jaemeel, and I don't know what's going on in Spoiler Town, but Spoiler Town, Safety Town, whatever town. I was pretty convinced by this edit that Tara and Kiefer have complete control of this whole situation, and Brayden is very safe, and Jedson is definitely going, and only Beth is going to be blindsided by this. So what's to worry about?
Okay, I am only going to have an opinion when I'm talking based upon the timeline of this show. If you want up-to-date information, folks, you got to stay to the spoiler section, right? Okay. So at this point, right, with all the information that we received on the television show and up to the spoilers to this episode, what we saw was Kiefer presenting an idea. Kiefer presenting this idea to Tara, Tara running with it, Tara putting the groundwork in, Kiefer also doing the same. For some reason, it seems like it worked. But at the same time, what we didn't see that happened during this time period is that everyone who's like, there's no way they would try to vote me out unless they put Ty up. Because if they don't put Ty up and they put Brayden up, like the votes are listed as we're going to just send Brayden home. And Tara's like, oh, I don't want people to get angry at me because I promised all these things, so I have to put Brayden up. But if Brayden says no, I will not put him up and I'll put up Ty, who said he's fine with being put up. So she asked Brayden, and Brayden's like, no, that's fine. You can put me up. And then she tells this to Kiefer, and Kiefer's like, you should put up Ty. And then she's like, oh, but I don't want people getting angry at me. And then then Kiefer talks to Brayden, and Brayden is like, I think there might be a problem. And then Kiefer's like, talk to Tara and tell her that you feel uncomfortable. It's okay. So
yeah, and you told me this the other night, but none of this made the episode tonight.
None of it.
So it's presented as this is all part of the plan.
It's all part of the plan.
Brayden's very comfortable. He goes, it's a diary room session. He's like, maybe I go home, but whatever. This is fine. This is golden.
You know what? In Big Brother's episodes past, you've seen situations, especially during the end, where you have people who are playing who are like, there's no way I can win. And then they have this just attitude where it's like they're just a husk of a body, that like a doll or like a test dummy that you kind of just fling around in different areas, right? You just carry with you. And that's basically what they're doing. Brayden is dead weight. He's dead weight. He deadweights strategically because you are not seeing any work being put in. He seemingly has given up the ghost, right? If I can coin
Like, you're delusional, mama.
Right? He is there for the diary sessions, right? And I think that I don't know if he would self-evict if he goes on slop again, because I don't even know what he's up. I guess it's just a stipend. He knows he's getting paid.
Lies. No, of course, girl. I'll definitely let you know if anyone is gonna backdoor you this week.
This is like a job for him, you're saying. This is not.
Yeah, it looks like he's just working on his soundboard. He's gonna probably like send out an app where it's just like Braden's hits, on Big Brother, where he just says sassy stuff. Like, where is the work being put in? Because like anyone who's looking to win this game would not let this happen. Would not let this happen.
No, this was laziness, and I understand now that Braden with this kind of stuff on his resume is not looking too good.
How dare they?
Well, we dare. Sometimes Braden's alive, sometimes he's on the show, sometimes you think he's even playing the game, and then he kind of disappoints you. Now, none of that maybe matters, right? Because
true.
Really,
we can
all
come
this
Thursday. We can come Thursday, and this just becomes like, what was Jaemeel talking about? It even play a factor in this.
Well, the only thing it doesn't matter, like whether Braden is a good player or not, or whether he's kind of beside the point to me, because Jedson obviously huge target, the Cody Calafiore of this season, right? The dominant player, sort of like the alpha. How can I not
play that clip?
That'll be an alpha move.
It's an alpha. Everything Jedson does is now an alpha move.
And I heard he went to the bathroom and it was very alpha.
It's very alpha. He doesn't do beta. Come on, he's about number one. So Jedson here, you have to take this guy out, right? But it really comes down to Sean. This is all going to kind of be contingent on who is Sean ultimately going to be loyal to. Now, he talked a big game tonight. There's a lot of edits. He's talking here with Kiefer and Braden and Tara, that he's more with them, that he's going to not be with Beth and this is basically turning on Jedson. He's going to vote Jedson out here. He's going to vote his undercover brother out, and maybe build a resume for himself. Maybe, right? It depends on how much is Tashawn the consummate beta to Jedson's alpha, or is he actually the usurper that we hope he is, right?
Look,
because
I cannot see this man Ty winning with Jed still in the game. There's no way. He has not done the social enough, because everyone looks to Jed, right, as being the alpha of the group per se, right? He does not have the wins, right? He like, where's the resume? So unless he does something, and this will be a something, I just don't see how this man could win. So it would make no sense outside of sentimentality to have the sunsetters or the sauce, the sauce to come to the end together, so that they can have like a hug session, a sequence where they would where they can say, oh, we made it to the end, and he can put that on his resume, right? I helped, right? Like
I was a contributor,
the little brother.
Yeah, I was a minority shareholder in this company, and I had a say at board meetings.
Yes,
that's gonna be like his biggest case.
I put up my hand and they heard me. That's basically it. They didn't use any of your decisions, right? But you were heard.
Non-voting member.
So I don't see how he could win. So you're looking at yourself, and you're obviously trying to play, unlike Braden. You have to make a move like this. You have to.
Absolutely.
However, we're getting near the end, and I gotta start playing for myself at some point.
Duh.
So what I'm getting from the show right now, Jaemeel, and these edits and these diary room sessions, quite a few more diary room sessions for Tashawn tonight than I think he's had all season.
Yep.
Okay. And he's like, I'm going to play for myself. And if he's buying into that narrative, right, like, then I think that this is real. I think maybe it is going to be Jed. Like, my fear tomorrow night is that it's going to be Braden. somehow Jed and Beth are going to flip this, and it's going, it's not even flipping because they think it's already locked in. So it's whether or not the plan crumbles if Ty flips.
Here's the ultimate problem that we all have. If it was any other season, other people, you'd be like, well, they're pretty much, once they are locked in, they're locked in. It makes perfect sense that they take this move. But not with these people. These people, they game themselves. They're like, oh, shoot, if we do this, this would be like the most alpha move. And it's like, wait, this is totally against helping yourself out, get to the end. You're just doing a move for the sake of a move because it seems totally off the wall, right? It's not even like a wheel where it trickles to an idea and they go with it. It's like the opposite of what they were planning. It's like, hey, we got a plan. Yo, what if we don't do the plan and we do the opposite of the plan? And it's like you're just waiting to see which part flip-flops last, right?
Yeah, whatever. And when the timer runs out.
Yes. And that's what it feels like with a lot of these people. So even I, who is kind of up to date with what's going on, I'm like, is it gonna happen? I don't know. There's too many hours left, right? There's still hours left.
It's still 24 hours from now, or a little less than, right, at this point, because this it will air tomorrow night. It will air tomorrow night around this time. We'll be watching at this time tomorrow.
You know when I will know if they're actually it actually went through? After the episode airs. That's the only way, for sure, because I can't trust these people. I can't trust.
No, it's too flighty. Tara is all over the place, but it doesn't vote, right? It's all about, so Kiefer is a key player in this. Kiefer, it depends also what he wants. I think he's steering quite a bit of this. And how much Deshaun is going to trust in Kiefer, right? And Tara, right? I was so excited tonight because I thought Ty and Tara, my 2 draft picks, we're going to work together now. They seem to be coming together. He's going to clean toilets, and she's like, oh, good for you.
Clean the toilet and work out.
Oh, good for you.
He's like, she's like, you dirty talker, you're going to clean. Yeah, get dirty. Gonna make that bed. Yeah, you make that bed.
You make that. Good for you.
I see you try to seduce me washing those dishes.
Right. Jedson and Tara had a conversation after this tonight, also in the HOH, where I don't know, their relationship's been interesting, and this dynamic where he was the HOH and she was the nominee, and now she's flipped it onto him. In retrospect, he's not too comfortable with this, right? This power shift this week, in every diary room. So she's like, listen up, Tara, I'm coming for you. I don't, or it just every time it doesn't sell to me because it's, I don't know. It's just because Jedson's 8 feet tall and Tara is 4 feet tall, right? So it's it just every time he's like, I'm coming for you. I'm like, come on, man. I get it, but you're gonna win power and then take out Tara, and that's that's it. Just comes across as bratty, right?
Yeah.
He's just how dare you do this to me, right?
Yes.
Mom,
she knocked over my toys. That's what it seems like.
Yeah, have some grace, man.
Ignore your little sister.
It was the same thing with Cody last season in the US version. I'm like, hey, you've had it so good for so long. You're finally in a little bit of hot water here, sure, but doesn't mean I don't know. I think there's a certain respect your competitors, right? And it just comes across as I hate that person because they're putting me through some adversity here. No, embrace it a bit, and say it's a game, and I'm, and I plan to get her back. But it's the way you deliver that message, I think, is kind of my issue. Just on another scene here tonight, Ty was in the midst of cleaning the toilet. When Beth shows up, she's like, "I'm so proud of you." Beth talking to Ty here tonight, and by the end of it, when she walks away, he's like, "I can't wait to get her out."
Yes. So during that sequence, I mentioned this before about Beth pawning Ty out to her friend. Right.
Oh, I got a best friend for you, right? She's into, you're just her type or whatever.
Yeah.
Um,
That's putting it nicely. Yes.
yeah, it's a polite way of saying it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's when that sequence came. So you can kind of see how he would have felt a little like you're pawning me off. Like things are ending, and you're kind of like have like a parachute. This is your parachute that you're mentioning. Oh, we're not going to be together, but dot dot dot. You know, you might feel certain ways.
Well, even the beginning of this scene too, where she's like, "You were like my best friend ever," or was that later? I can't remember if that was this
No, the
part.
same sequence.
Same sequence.
And she
Remember
just
we
moves
flirted?
around.
Yeah, we flirted all the time, and we had a good. And then we became such good friends. Wasn't that great? He's like, "Yeah, right." Yeah, but he's
It's like,
over it.
we had a love triangle, and he's like, "Yeah."
She's like, and she says, "I this little Alberta beef jerky has you Toronto boys
mans. No. She used Toronto slang. She said Toronto mans. Toronto
mans.
Yes, MANS.
That's just a different way of saying men.
Wow, I can't believe we're going into this. All right. Toronto mans is like you could say like David, or I'm referring to you, and it's like was it Burlington Man's represent, right? Or I'm terrible at I don't use the term. I use it only jokingly, but man's is Toronto slang. All she need to say is fam, right?
Okay.
Fam and man's, and then she has like a pretty good grasp on Toronto slang.
Okay, I don't know if I do yet. And I'm like, well, I've worked in Toronto for many years, and I'm not from Toronto, but
next time you're in Toronto or you're talking to a Toronto man's them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just throw a man's in and see how people react.
It doesn't seem like a good thing. It doesn't seem like something I want to start using.
It's not a bad thing. I don't think it's something that you would be using, but like just throw it in for kicks.
I don't think I should. Well, yeah, I'm always wary of using anything I don't understand because I've learned my lesson here. Or even things sometimes I think I understand it and it turns out I don't.
And throw fam in there, right? You hear me, fam?
Hear me, fam? Is that just a way of saying like guys? Like, hey,
sure.
Right? Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. So she was all about it. Like, okay, she's so narcissistic, Beth. It's amazing. But
they're all narcissistic. They think so highly of themselves. And I guess that kind of works, especially when you have the diary room for like how many like months now, just pumping you full of like just giving you the gas, and you're just like, yeah, I am. That was a pretty good move. Yeah, let's talk about it. Yeah, this is my brilliant move, Canada. I got this unlocked. You know, like they're pumped up so much so. Like their only stimuli is people that they don't trust, and the diary room, which is kind of like a session where they comfort them and say, "Hey, man, you're doing pretty well." It's like, what do you think about this move? And they ask questions. It's like the agenda, especially if they don't really think about like how reality shows are built. The agenda is to be on their side and to talk to them. That's what they think, or to at least be the source of conversation where there isn't a hidden agenda, where there actually is. But
right. Okay. Maybe on that note, let's talk about the next scene, which is Beth and Tara in the Expedia Lounge, as it's known now. Well, maybe it always was. And she just, I didn't pull as a sound clip, but Tara's like, I know you're cheesed, about being on the block. So this is like, I guess, their conversation after the nominations, like maybe when their first one-on-ones.
Yeah.
And Tara's making a fairly strong case of like, hey, I don't want to be the only woman in the house. Like, even if you're on the block, it's kind of like it's game talk, right? And Tara is just giving Beth just too much credit, like, or too much like benefit of the doubt, hoping that she's playing for herself ultimately, or hoping that maybe down the line there can be something or whatever. But Beth's over it. Beth is betrayed here. She's not. She'll play into it a little bit. I'm a little, I get it, Beth, but also you kind of created this whole situation. You have no self-awareness, and I don't have a lot of sympathy for you either. And beyond that, there's not much else to say. It's just kind of it's like Tara's trying to play. Beth doesn't want to. But also on Tara's side, she's not reading Beth properly. So I'm a little bit disappointed in Tara too.
Well, this scene is important because it plays to a similar scene that happens later on once the plan is unfurled.
Yes, the plan. Best plan, which is actually Kiefer's plan, but who knows who really came it up. Then we have Tashawn. This is what I say with the new trio, right? Oh my God, we have to get the greatest power trio that there ever was.
I don't know if they have a name.
No, they don't have a name. They I had to play. Why can't I never find it when I want to find it?
That's what she said.
There's no such thing as a backdoor.
No, that's not it.
Set.
Oh, here it is. Here it is. Wait.
This is the new power trio. The most unlikely trio in Big Brother history. Let's do battle.
Let's do battle.
They're the Let's Do Battle trio. I'm going to dub them. Let's do battle. Or they're the Kiefer trio, the new power trio.
I want Kiefer to narrate my life, man.
Yeah, he's a radio host. I think he's in the right profession. Yeah. Yeah, so it's those three plus now Tashawn. So it's kind of like this new side of the house. And Tashawn was like, he's like, yeah, like how I said it's just weird how they're talking. It's just weird how they're so comfortable with Tashawn now. These three, like they feel like he has actually moved over. And I just feel like if I were you guys, even Kiefer, who has a stronger relationship with Ty, right? I'd be like, I don't know, like if this is I hope this is true, but I think we should still be wary.
Once again, as I was mentioning before, sometimes these people are like, well, he has to be with us. It makes no sense if he isn't. But that's not how these people play.
You have to assume that they're not always playing in their best interest, and their heads are all screwed around too. So you have to be like self-aware and read the room.
Yeah.
Right. No, but if Ty was there with me too, I would feel like, okay, Ty's kind of with this. Obviously, we're not getting diary room sessions where Ty's like, I'm loving this. Give me all this information. I'm going to take this back to Jed and Ty. We're not, or Jed and Beth, right? He's not giving us that kind of information either. Or that's not being presented on the show. So everything shown tonight is showing that like Tashawn is he's playing for himself, or he has to eventually start playing for himself.
However, we're getting near the end, and I got to start playing for myself at some point.
At some point, this is the point.
I don't know. I don't know. I can't trust it. I can't. I just can't. And
yeah, I can't yet. Not until I see this eviction.
Yeah.
Can I trust it?
So okay. It's like you hear me say it over and over again, and part of it is like me giving myself, like convincing myself, it's like I can't trust it. Don't do this to yourself, Jaemeel. You don't want to do what you did with Kiefer, where you're like, they're locked in. There's no chance that Kiefer is gonna stay, and like these fools kept him. Like I can't trust them. I cannot. Right? They're untrustworthy narrators.
Unpredictable. They're unpredictable, right? They don't even know what they're gonna do yet.
Yes.
Right. Let's talk about this veto competition itself. It was a very Expedia-driven theme tonight. It was all about geography and puzzles and going on trips. Because one day we'll be able to go on trips again, Jaemeel, after the pandemic.
I don't know about Canada. I already got invited to some trips already, and I'm like, why do this to me? Why?
Yeah,
like, twist that knife.
You mean outside of the country, like
outside of the country?
Yeah, you're not going anywhere. I'm sorry. None of us are. All of us Canadians are trapped.
Yeah, we're in the Big Brother Canada country. That's where we are.
The whole country is the Big Brother Canada house now. We're not getting out. It feels like that's true. And we're not. But they tease us. They torment us with these luggage bags, the cars, the maps. At least. We can't even go to other provinces right now without being searched and frisked and everything else.
Do you like the design of this competition? Just a design?
Yes, I think so. I think that it was 3 parts. I think that they took us through first with Jedson. I also think from how they presented it on the show was interesting. I wish in retrospect I didn't know that Jedson won it, because the way they edited it together, Jedson, I know he's the winner. He goes first. They show us his whole thing kind of slowly, right? And he was the slowest in the 22 minutes. So I know everybody who's going to come after is not going to win. Huh?
The fastest.
The fastest, yes. He was the fastest, not the slowest. He came first.
The one thing that I did notice is that Jedson is the only one who did the puzzle in pieces as opposed to clear the path right, and then pushed the car right through. Everyone else cleared the path first and then pushed the car straight through, whereas Jed was pushing the car like piece by piece.
Yeah, his approach to the puzzle, the second part of the competition, was different than the rest. And yeah, that was interesting. Like I can't remember now, and it's worth looking up quickly. What is Jedson's like professional background? Doesn't he? Is he like he's a student or he's a trainer? But he was he's good at certain puzzles. He seems to be that seems to be a strength of his.
Ty's the city planner.
Ty's a city planner, but I don't quite. It hasn't translated to the game. Although he came second in this, although he was 4 minutes slower than Jedson.
And I think he lost the time in that puzzle in the final part, because they seem to be pretty much on par, for the most part. You're looking about where he lost. Yeah. Oh, jeez.
Braden, you're not helping your cause, man. You're not helping in this case. Like
it's like, but like when you're seeing him perform at the end, he pressed the button. He's like, "Yay!" And then he's like, "Oh my god!" Like he catches himself and he's like, "Oh wait, I actually did really poorly." Not like he's just proud of himself that he finished.
Oh, he was. He was just thrilled that he got the cities in the right places because I felt like the puzzle part with Kiefer was terrible at just getting the pieces where they need to go, and then some people were even bad at geography. Beth was very bad at her geography. Yeah. She was putting Niagara Falls around Banff, I believe, or something like that.
No, she had Niagara Falls in Montreal. It was like way too high. Same thing, Kiefer. Kiefer at least had the excuse saying, "Oh, I don't even look at the."
I don't even look at the other side of Canada. It's all about the West Coast, baby. Haida Gwaii. You know, like Newfoundland, Nova Scotia. I don't know anything about that. That's on the other side.
I would have trouble with Banff and Jasper.
Where Banff is versus where Jasper is. Okay, yeah, I'll give you that one. That one might be a little tougher.
And folks, before you get angry at me, I've never been to the West Coast. I don't snowboard. I know where Vancouver is, so only those two. Only those two would hang me up. I would just flip them back and forth, and I would eventually get it in like about 10, 20 seconds.
Yeah, but trial and error because you'd be able to narrow in on what you don't know or what you might have wrong. But some of these players, I felt like, had a little bit more challenge there. So I felt like, I feel like the least interesting part of the challenge was probably the first part, which was like find the bag with the sticker on it with the ribbon. I was like, this part is boring to me. Yeah. It's not as interesting to watch, but it did create kind of an interesting dynamic throughout the three parts. It was good for this theme, and for this it showed off the sponsor. Also, what about these lumberjack outfits they had on tonight, Jaemeel, with these little beanies and the blue and yellow?
Oh, dude, no, okay. I gotta stop you right there. This is a pet peeve of mine, right? They're not beanies. They're toques. Beanies have a propeller on it, right? These are not beanies. They're toques.
Go
with winter hats. I will go with winter hats.
No, I say toque too. Don't get me wrong. I am a toque saying man. I am a Canadian, and I say toque.
No, you say a toque saying mans.
I'm a toque saying mans.
Yeah.
But listen, like I also looked at the size of these toques, and they were not full-size toques. In fact, I think that they were more. I would venture.
You were going to say beanie. You were going to say beanie.
Well, of course I was, because it's here. Let me just see if I can pull this up very, very quickly, just to without. I will not let it move, but it's not covering his ears. It's very high up. It's a high riding toque. You know, it's a beanie toque. It's a hybrid beanie toque, perhaps. Hold on, let me just take that off video for 1 second. See if I get a better angle of it.
It's just a pet peeve of mine. I have too many Ameri friends, and they just twist that knife, referring to beanies. I refuse to buy hats at places that refer to it as a beanie. So that a lot of American places, I'm sorry, I don't buy them. I'm sorry. If I see a Canadian place that refers to it as a beanie, I'm not buying it either.
Okay, it's a toque, but it doesn't look like it would keep him warm enough. That's all I'm saying.
A very impractical tube. It is terra-sized.
Terra-sized.
It's terra-sized.
It's terrifying. All
Yeah.
right. Okay, so just I had to just speak to that. Yeah, the
So
lumberjack
folks-
outfits.
Yes, but I do also question it as well. I guess they were looking for something around the colors so that they can have the same branding colors being used, and they're like, some designers like, oh, why don't we just go with that shirt, that plaid-ish shirt, and
Well, it's the Expedia brand colors, the blue and the
Yeah.
yellow too. It's easy for them to do that, so it was fine. It was just like, yeah, they were, and they all get the boots, and they all get to keep this every time they get like a veto competition. They get these
Yeah.
clothes.
pretty much, yeah.
That's cool.
That's why you see it throughout the rest of the show. They'll be like, they'll mix it into their fashion, their clothing.
Okay, so Jedson wins this veto. As we mentioned, 22 minutes, 4 minutes better than the next best time, which is Tashawn. I couldn't help but think too that, like, could this be a motivator for Tashawn? Like, if this is my chance to get out Jedson and he's the one who just beat me, I would have won that veto if it were not for him. Maybe next week he wins veto instead of me too.
Or HOH.
Right? Or HOH even, right? You know, so why this is making more and more sense for Tashawn to do this. Whether he'll do it is the big question, right?
Yep.
Whether he'll follow through. I feel like Kiefer is on for this plan. He wants to get Jedson. Now he's competition for him.
And also, he put him on the block last week.
Right. And we get this conversation afterwards with Tashawn, Kiefer talking to Tara, right? They're like, well, at this point, they're like, we have to try to get Beth out. We like, now that Jedson's safe, we have to try to get Beth out. This is before they kind of come up with this plan here eventually. Well, why don't we get Jed to use the veto onto Beth, right? Because I'll tell you what.
In the middle of the night.
That'd be an alpha move.
In the middle of the night, it comes to Kiefer, right? And he talks. He talks, and the three of them are like, "Oh, that would be epic. That would be epic."
Yeah.
But
Right. Well, Kiefer says we have to try.
We do, we're damned if we don't.
Yeah.
We have to try it, Tara.
I know.
This was the plan.
This was the plan.
But like, you're not damned if you do, damned if you don't. Because if you don't get Jed out, you get out Beth.
What if it was like one thing that's never explored tonight of all the play of the only one who's not talked about it, if Kiefer was sitting next to Jedson, do they really vote out Kiefer over Jedson?
Yes, they would vote out Kiefer. They
So
have
that's
to.
why he. That's why he. Well, why did they? No, what? Like, I think that'd be a tough choice. You know, if you're the house, because you go, who's the bigger threat, Kiefer or Jedson? Both can beat me
Kiefer.
at the end. Why?
Kiefers. So understand, you're breaking up the trio, and that is the biggest threat. But individually, Kiefer is a bigger threat.
Mm-hmm.
That is the issue.
Okay. So Tara ruled this out.
Yeah, like if it's between Jedson and Kiefer, you take out Jedson, right? You still have Kiefer, right? And basically have the spare parts of the trio, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if you take out Jedson, right, at least now you can focus on Kiefer. So looking at the people who are voting as well, you have Ty voting, you have Braden, and you have Kiefer, right? So if you put Kiefer up, that means you have Ty, Beth, and Braden. They're going to take a shot at Kiefer. They're going to. The trio's still there, and they're still the biggest threat.
Okay. I was just trying, but they don't even. Yeah, because because they don't explain that to me in the episode. I was having a hard time understanding why you're talking Braden. We'll tell them we're getting rid of Braden, but he's actually a pawn, and it's actually a trick, and whatever. But I agree with you. It's not a damned if you do, damned if you don't. There's a couple maybe options here.
Yeah, they just don't want to explore them.
Okay. Also, we had the have not thing happening tonight, like the skip the dishes vote. I know your favorite part of the show. And Tashawn, who we can't stop talking about this guy, right? He comes up again. We knew he was going to win. We checked the Twitter poll the other night, and he was way out ahead. So he was super thrilled.
And I'm excited right now.
I could die smiling. I can't.
Holy Canada. I love y'all too.
He loves all of you.
Please tell me you got the soundbite about what he wants. What he wants. He needs that meat in him.
No, I didn't get that.
Oh no, it's such a great light. I'm like, that has to be it. He's like, I need that meat in me.
I
And
know.
I'm like,
I didn't even pick up on that, honestly. I was no. I was more. He was like, I'm Ty. My name is Ty, and I want Thai food. And it was, I don't know.
what would you get? What would you get if you haven't eaten fast food in a while? It's not even just fast food with Skip, but like you haven't ate food out, and you've been cooking / eating slop for like, was it 2 months now? They're a day 50 something.
Yeah.
What would you order? What is your?
I'd probably order something like that you can't make in the house, right? Like, so maybe something deep fried, because I doubt that they're able to do that in the house. They're using the oven, or they're using the grills and pans and things like that. So I don't know if you can like have a barbecue steak in the house, but I would, if that's not an option or not something you would get all the time, then maybe I would order that. Like order from the keg or something good.
Okay.
Like a lobster tail.
Lobster tail. That's good.
Yeah. Right. Maybe. Yeah. Something like that. A lot of butter, garlic. So yeah. What about you?
Oh, that's such a hard question. I'm such a person of like whatever takes me at that moment. I'll be perfectly honest though. If someone said that they're allergic to something, I'll probably ask for that. There's just something about not being able to have something, or that you shouldn't have something, that just kind of motivates you to like, you know what? But what if? I'm like the isosceles, the sauce of food, right? Just indecisive until it's like, oh snap! What if I do this? Like a mutual friend of ours is allergic to, to strawberry milkshakes, and when she told me that, I was like just craving strawberry milkshakes because I was told like I shouldn't really have it.
This is forbidden fruit.
Yes. But just
you can't even have this.
I know. Off the top of my head, I would probably want I don't know, like a very hearty soup, like ramen, like a double bowl of ramen with like the cutlets and the
is it ramen or is it ramen?
Ramen. You all know what I mean.
I know what you mean. I'm
man's nose.
I've been saying ramen. I was just like, am I saying it wrong?
No, you're probably saying it right. Ramen.
Maybe it's a Brampton thing. You say in Brampton we say ramen. Everywhere else it's ramen. This whole thing where he got the food also made me think, okay, he knows he's on the show. He knows he's talking about playing his own game. He knows he's talking about all these things, and it's probably making the show, and he's in certain sequences. And now he wins this vote where Canada is rewarding him, and he's got to be thinking, well, maybe I'm doing the right thing. Maybe Canada is telling me, yes, do this.
Yes, and that's when it comes to situations like this, it does really point you to motivate you to continue with the path that you're going on. Like you're getting that acknowledgement that you're doing the right thing.
Right. I hope that was. I also had a glimmer of hope because I'm a Thai fan. I want Thai to start. If you're gonna start playing now, right? Yeah. Like in terms of actively for yourself. And we get that. We get happy. Then we also have this. This is where the actual beginning of this plan to put up like let's get Jedson to use the veto onto Beth. So it's key for Ty Brayden, like in the middle of the night, talking in the dark, and like, could this work? And it's kind of like this thing, and then it's almost like the next day. It's Kiefer goes like, or the next morning, he presents this plan from the shadow cabinet up to Tara, the president. Madam President, we have a plan we hatched in the middle of the night. It's the night of the long knives, we call it, and here it comes, right? And she's like, well, maybe.
You know what? Just to stop you there, if that trio does call themselves Shadow Cabinet, that would be awesome. That would just straight be awesome because
that's free if you want to use that on the show. Global, throw it out there. The Shadow. One really smart guy on a podcast. He was like the Shadow Cabinet because you cooked up this deal in the dark.
Yes.
No, screw it. I mean, I'm copywriting it. If I'm ever on the show, I'm gonna be like, that's the name of our alliance, the Shadow Cabinet.
Yes,
because we're in the.
It's a good name. It's a good name.
Yeah, it would get panned, I'm sure, by a lot. But hey, that's fair. Then we had. Sorry, this was the part 2 of Beth and Tara in the Expedia room or Expedia lounge. that they need each other, Veto, blah blah blah. But it's more of the same that we had earlier with their conversation, that they're really not working together. However, this is actually where Tara's like, well, what if Jed used the veto on you so that we can put up Brayden? Because that's what Beth wants to hear. Why can't Brayden be on the block? Brayden, she's got a real dislike of Brayden. I'm getting the sense of. Are you feeling that vibe?
I don't necessarily feel that. I feel like there's a general like dislike of everyone except them. Like it's always us versus them when it comes to Beth. Even when she knows that she needs the other side to help her to win the game, it's always us versus them. But I think the reason why Beth goes along with it and is kind of convinced is her mind. The way it works is the only reason why Tara would come up with such a stupid plan is if she genuinely wants me to stay. Right? That's her leap of logic. Right? It's like this is so stupid that only someone who desperately wants me to stay would even utter those words publicly. And that straight convinces her. By God, it's so crazy it might work.
Right. Well, it also reinforces Beth's belief system, which is that she's really good at this game, and she's good at like convincing. Even though she hates Tara, she's got Tara wrapped around her finger. She may have had a momentary lapse here, but now I've got her back. I'm so good. So she then she runs to Jed, and she's like, this is what's gonna happen, and Jed's like, he's considering it right from the beginning. He's which he shouldn't be. This is he thinks it's an alpha move.
That'd be an alpha move.
It's not.
It might be up there with the Eric Survivor move that you pointed out the other night.
Yes,
We'll see.
and Luan, is it Luan? This is before your Big Brother time, but someone has also won the veto and not used it. On themselves,
and then been voted out
immediately right after it got voted out.
Well, I think that because as voters, right, as house guests that are voting tomorrow night, like, do you feel like, hey, there was a guy and his name was Jedson and he was a very powerful alpha player?
We do. We're damned if we don't. Yeah. We have
to. You didn't vote him out after he didn't use the veto on himself?
You would look stupid. I don't care. I don't care who you are or what your thought process is. You would have to do a lot of mental gymnastics to
justify
that.
it.
Yeah, to justify that thought process. It just makes no sense. No.
Especially if you're Kiefer, who is a fan of this game and there's no way I can see Kiefer not voting out.
He has doubly the reason to do so. The reason is, one, dude put him on the block, or I should say, Mans put him on the block.
Toronto Mans.
Yeah, Toronto Mans, man. I see. I hate the usage. I can't.
Well, I'm not saying I love it. By the way, is Deshaun actually from Toronto? Is he actually not from Montreal?
He's from. Isn't he from Montreal? But
I thought he's from Montreal. But Beth doesn't.
He played in Toronto, didn't he? Or he lived in Toronto?
Maybe he has got some connection because Beth thinks of him as from Toronto.
Yes. And Jed is from Aurora.
Yeah, that's not really Toronto either.
Yes, exactly. But like, Kiefer is justified in his thought process. It makes pretty straightforward sense, right? Why he would be motivated. So I'm not necessarily worried about Kiefer per se, unless something else enticing comes up, which Jed cannot offer him. He cannot.
No, and I don't think Kiefer would be a fool to fall for anything. He might try to fake him out with. It's like a series of conversations, right? Like then we get Jed, Beth, and Tara comes out. They talk about this plan. He's like, it'd be an alpha move.
That'd be an alpha move.
It's always an alpha move.
Not.
Then Ty, Jed, and Beth out back, and then Kiefer shows up, and then they're talking about Beth. Like this is where Kiefer says, "Hey, I love your plan, Beth, because it's my plan, or it's the Shadow Cabinet's plan." And the plan, and this is, and then it's left tonight where the veto ceremony happens. It's Jedson goes, he uses it, and then Brayden takes his seat, and Brayden's like, he knows this is a risk. That's his diary room session, but he feels like this is going to work out. Now, that means nothing because Braden doesn't know what's going on clearly, or he doesn't have enough of a pulse on things. But
it's just too cute, dude. It's too cute. You are leaving the opportunity. You're opening the window that all three of them could. You take a shot at all three of them, basically, and they all walk free this
right,
week.
yeah. Deshaun could have been the pawn here.
Yeah, just easily, and you get the same result. And you can trust Braden. You could trust Braden in that respect, right? You could talk to him and like it would seem straightforward. Why would you trust Beth, right, in this situation, or even like put all your hopes on Ty? If Beth and Ty,
If this all rests on Ty, at the end of the day, will Ty vote with Kiefer, right?
yeah,
Because it's Kiefer, Ty, and
Beth
Beth
that are voting, as opposed to
Right.
like Kiefer, Beth, and
Braden. Yeah,
like that's like slam dunk.
right. If it's Kiefer, well, okay. So it was either Braden or Ty voting. So Ty is definitely less reliable here because he could flip back to the team, to the trio, to the sauce, and decide that that's what he wants. But I don't think he's going to. But let's talk about it. Let's see what we can know from feeds and spoilers and everything else, and get into it because I think there's about as much on this episode as we can break down. It was a good one. I enjoyed this episode. I'm going to remember this one for a while because I think that this week has been a bit more dynamic. I think I like the play, and I like that I can't really predict where it's going to end up, for better or worse.
Yeah. Are we getting a jury segment tomorrow? Before we,
I think so. And by the way, while we're on that subject, I don't know if you've seen the jury house photos that they've released onto the website.
Yes, I have some of it. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay, wait.
Let's bring it up. Let's bring it up for these folks.
Oh, I can only do 10 at a time. One second. They are the most. Okay. This is what is it? It's Braden. Sorry, Rohan and Victoria. I'm sorry.
On the deck.
Like just everywhere,
Yeah.
right? Like, so here, let's bring up these photos from the jury house. So we have Rohan and Victoria here on the dock. Here he's pointing out. He's like, "Look out there, Victoria." She's like, "Yeah, that's cool." They're like, "Hey, interesting meeting you here in quarantine land up here in Muskoka country." This is where Rohan found something and wanted to.
Does this look like very awkward, like wedding photos or something? Like
something, like yeah, like they're meant to be playing parts, or they're playing a couple, maybe. Yeah. This is they apparently only have bunk beds here in this jury house where it's more like a concentration camp, or more like some kind of system where they're behind bars. So
I don't have a problem with it. I don't like the bed in the middle.
The bed in the middle is throwing the whole thing off. Like, why not put a mattress up on the top, one of the top bunks, and then move that? I don't know what's going on there. That's not right. Yeah. That's all they have to do is sleep in here, and then they have a stove.
Yeah, there's a real kitchen. That's just for presentation.
Here they are in the proper living room.
I like the stone wall. It looks nice. I like the laminate floor. I like that too.
I think they might move here permanently together and start a life. I think it's looking like that. And here they are cooking.
Nice, nice house.
Get those onion skins off.
A Keurig machine. Do you take the skin off, or do you cut the tops first? What type of?
I cut the tops off, then I get the skin off.
Okay, just wondering the thought process. Okay,
yeah, great pose. Watch that knife. Don't cut yourself, Rohan. Safety first. Okay, that's all. So those are the ones I pulled actually. So anyway, that's a little peek at the jury house.
It looks very clean. Tara would appreciate it.
She would. Wait until Beth gets there. Okay. Let's if you're leaving us now, we're just gonna plug all our shows here on Super Mader Brothers Podcasting. We don't just cover Big Brother Canada 9, but we have been doing that for many weeks now, 8 weeks in fact. We also are on Friday are going to be doing the review of The Serpent, which is a Netflix show that's been out. Jaemeel, I can't remember if you've confirmed on this or not. If Jeff,
I have not confirmed. I said, Jeff said, "Hey, I said, "Hey, I am off on Friday. Should I watch it? Should I spend my time?" And it's like, you could. He
You
never
could.
guaranteed it was worthwhile to
It was
watch.
the weakest sell ever. And I wouldn't. So anyway, if you've watched The Serpent, or if you haven't, we're gonna be talking about it. It's gonna be me, Jeff, and Mott, and maybe Jaemeel. Who knows? On Friday at 7:30 Eastern over on this channel. Plus, in about a week or two, we're gonna be talking about Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I guess it'd be 2 weeks because we're gonna do it after like the making of featurette comes out, right?
Sure.
Like we did. Like
We've got a lot of time until the next MCU content comes out. So,
so we might
June
do that
11th.
in 2 weeks. But when we talk about the Falcon and the Winter Soldier here on Super Mader Brothers podcast, we already talked about WandaVision when that series had wrapped for a little earlier this year, and other things. We've covered Westworld and different shows, so check that out. We also have our other channel, Trivial Debates. This Sunday, we're going to be arguing about, we always argue about TV, sports, movies, music. It's kind of a game show format. This is on the Trivial Debates channel. This will be Sunday at 11 a.m. We got my son, Eamon Mader, hosting. We got some of our other podcasters, including Adam Woodward, Jody Simpson, and Beth Mader, my mother.
the Beth that doesn't suck.
The Beth that doesn't suck. Unlike, yes. I was gonna try. I can't even do a Beth laugh. Anyway, so check that out Sunday morning. It's going to be probably about a 90-minute podcast where we're going to go, and we got all kinds of. It's always a really fun affair. Where the points don't matter, it's kind of like one of those things. And Live Long and Podcast, our Star Trek channel, where we on Tuesdays we talk about Star Trek Deep Space Nine. We're doing every episode in order. And then on Wednesdays we have original series where we do with my dad. He tells me that, like, Dave, in the 60s this was the only Star Trek, and they weren't planning to make more, so it didn't matter if it didn't make sense.
And today was Heavy as the Crown, or
The Conscience of the King we did today.
Conscience of the King, yes.
Yeah, so we watched that episode. That was an interesting. Kodos the Executioner. I learned quite a few things about original series and Star Trek. And we've also done all the other Star Trek shows, including Picard and movies and Discovery and Lower Decks and different things. Plus, one of our feature things is called Star Trek Radio Theater, where we play out the Star Trek episodes. Steve Shives, from his self-titled channel, he was on Deep Space Nine with us last night, and he's going to be part of this next production. We're doing Samaritan Snare this Saturday night at 9 p.m. Eastern on the Live Long and Podcast channel. I'll be playing Jean-Luc Picard. Steve Shives playing Commander Riker, and our friend Chris Seymour coming in to play Captain Grebdenlog of the Packlets, plus Ensign Sonia Gomez. Can't wait to hear that. Jeff Mader in the role of Geordie LaForge. He was that 1 year he was a full lieutenant. And then Tom Tyrell is Data. We got Ashley Miller as Pulaski. My wife Jane is Worf, and Troy and the Surgeon, and Kevin Miller is Crusher, Wesley Crusher more specifically. Reggie not anymore. So check that out Saturday night. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to that episode. And I think that's everything, right? That's everything we're doing over.
That's everything for now. It's so much, though. It is
so much. Is that all? Is that all we're doing? I need like 3 minutes just to explain it all. Okay, so with all that, let's get to any kind of spoilers and what we might be looking ahead for tomorrow night's eviction. And geez, I'm not even there. Boo, boo, boo. Give me the Ruafu. Okay, hit me, Jaemeel.
So expect a jury segment, because is there not much to do since this episode aired. So what we were left with is the plan was to vote out Jed. And as of right now, the plan is still a go. Beth, Ty, and Kiefer all seem on board with voting out Jed. But
Beth's in on this too?
Yes.
Well, why include her? Why? That's my first question. Why not just keep Jed and Beth in the dark?
They let Beth know. So,
but it was a bad. You agree that was a bad thing to do?
I think so, especially with what happens next.
And does Jed? She tells Jed everything. There's no way that Jed doesn't know now.
Jed does know.
Of course. Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So the original plan was for them to tell Jed just before the actual elimination, eviction. Beth has told Jed. Jed is questioning everything because both Ty and Kiefer are adamant. Like, why is Beth doing this? Why is she causing drama? We're not going to vote you out. Braden is gone, right? And it seems kind of pointless because if you guys are truly locked in, there's no reason for you to lie. You're gone. I'm sorry, right? They just don't want to give Jed the opportunity to campaign, right? And to
But he already
change their
has
mind.
that. He already has that opportunity.
He already knows. He
Because
already
Beth
knows.
already told him, like,
Yes,
like
And
they ought as well cop to it. You know, like why not?
But it looks bad because they're now like invoking, hey, what are we doing next week? Kind of talk. They're like, Beth, I don't know what Beth is talking about. Like, she's questioning my integrity type of thing. Like, they are the the gassing is real. They're trying to miss this man so bad. And he's like, he knows, and it just looks terrible.
Why are they so afraid? Why does Jedson have this power over them? I don't understand. Or at least over...
don't know. Like it's both Kiefer and Ty. Ty is doubling down on this so hard that I have to believe he's voting this man out. There's no way. I don't know how you can turn around and come back from a relationship like that where you keep him after you lied to him, right? Lied to him because Ty told Beth he's been with Kiefer and Tara since the beginning of the week.
Mm-hmm.
So if Beth is also relaying this information to Jed,
which she is,
right? How can you like turn around and then keep Jed and then expect Jed and Beth to trust you, right? It would make no sense. It would make no sense whatsoever.
Whose idea was it to tell Beth? Do you know?
I think I missed that information. I think I missed that.
It better not be Kiefer's.
You would just like, no. Why would you? Why would you make any sense?
It better not be Kiefer, and it better not be Tara either, for that matter. Because I expect Ty. I would forgive this because I feel like Ty is just, he's not the brightest. Okay, but he tries.
City planner, not the brightest.
City planner. He's working on it. He's working.
And Braden is just chilling.
Braden's gonna Braden. Like,
I'm
not too worried. Like Braden's not gonna fight, but Braden being a passenger, that's the best thing he could probably do for himself because maybe because if he got unless things flip, but
then he'll be in a Tina position where
I'm like, this is Tina all over again, right? Where you're damned if you do or you're damned if you don't.
With us having the knowledge of what's happening this week, honestly, I hope they vote out Ty next. Because I don't like, it would be so bad for everyone if Jed comes back. If Jed comes back after this kind of like where they're straight up not telling him the truth, like,
are you sure there's a buyback?
That's what they're saying. They
haven't talked about it at all.
So what's going to happen is you have the vote today, and then you have your double, right? But it's a fake double eviction because the person who is voted out immediately competes against the person who was previously voted out, and then whoever wins comes back in.
Okay,
that's
so
the understanding.
We are going to have a double eviction style episode tomorrow night.
Yes. There's no time. There's no time. Like, this was the perfect type of situation right now where they don't have to spend that much time covering in between the veto ceremony and the first eviction.
Okay, so if Rohan and Victoria are going to be part of this, presumably?
No, they're part of the jury.
Then who would the evictee compete against?
The
second evictee. Okay, the second evictee. Okay, so let's say Jedson's voted out, or even let's say he's not voted out. Let's say somehow it's Braden who gets voted out. Okay, and then at that
point, wouldn't you put up Kiefer?
Let's say Kiefer is the target of the fake double, and then so what, we get like a Kiefer versus Braden maybe in this buyback, like
and then Kiefer wins and Kiefer comes back and we basically wasted the week.
What happens if it's Jedson who does get voted out and then he competes against, like, it depends who gets voted out in the second part. If it's someone like Ty, or if it's someone like Kiefer, even that could be interesting to watch which one of them comes back in.
But you have to believe that Tara's going to be on the block.
Even if it's Kiefer as HOH?
Is Kiefer going to put up Jet and Ty? Ty and Beth?
Well, he has to put up. He only has a couple of options. He can put up Tara, Brayden, Ty, or Beth. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
right? Like, I would think so. Yeah. Put up Ty and Beth.
I don't know if he's going to put up Ty.
Beth and who? Beth and Tara?
Probably Beth and Brayden, or I don't think he's going to put up Ty.
Okay. So, okay. And then, but we'll see.
Beth will
Like,
go.
it would be fun. Okay. But, so it's kind of a fake double, but because there's this buyback, but
It's a poorly branded thing. They shouldn't have said a fake double eviction. It is a double eviction with a buyback.
Yes, it's exactly. It's the wrong terminology. It's because if you're evicted in part 2 and then you lose this thing, yeah, you're out.
Yeah.
You're joining Rohan and
or unless I'm completely off and they just did not explain it well enough.
I don't want to buy back. I just want this to play out. It's been like a very traditional game so far, painfully traditional, but in some ways, like,
Do you think this season would have been better with a twist, a bigger twist than the teams thing at the beginning?
No.
I missed, like, I'm sorry, you got voted out, you're gone. Like, minimal powers, like there's been like no powers. Like, I've liked this season. I haven't liked the gameplay of some of the players, but like the drama has been built in via the people that they have casted on the show, as opposed to the show being inserting drama because they don't trust the cast.
Yeah, like it's like I think these are like in terms of how they casted this, they just took people who kind of, I don't know how much they can test for this, but they're just kind of indecisive, kind of like, I don't know what I'm going to do next kind of personalities.
Give them someone said give them a quiz, and if they erase their answer like 20 times, they're perfect for the show.
Oh, really? Well, that's, yeah, but then maybe that's true. Maybe that's what you kind of want. Somebody who's kind of like, I don't know, I might do this, I might do that. I don't know till the last minute. And that maybe makes a good television game show contestant.
Yeah.
Potentially, right? Versus somebody who's calculated and a little bit more boring. A little bit more like Tina.
Last episode, we need to go back and review the cast. Review the cast and like, was this a really good cast?
Yeah,
I think
we should go back and watch We should go back and watch our cast preview podcast. That would be our homework, and then come in and say, how wrong were we about everybody? You know,
I was
wrong about a lot of people.
Yeah,
it will be sort of a post-mortem, if you will. Yes. Wow. Okay. So, hey, we got a lot to talk about tomorrow night too, by the sounds of it.
It sounds like it.
All right.
I'll get some rest. I'll start sleeping from now, and then I should be refreshed by.
Yes. Get your rest. I needed to get mine too, because Wednesdays are always tough. I got the Star Trek podcast and then this one. So, and I love doing it, but it's,
it weighs on you. It weighs on you. I understand.
It weighs on you a little bit. You just, I haven't had a moment yet. So I'm but this was a great episode to talk about. Great podcast with you, Jaemeel. A lot of fun.
Always a pleasure, Dave.
Always a pleasure. Yes. We're going to close the book on this episode 22, which aired on April 21st for this week 8. We're going to be back tomorrow for this real double with a buyback. We're going to call it the real thing. And don't forget.
I always have to do it.
I know. I should remember every time.